All right, average gringo here with, I guess this is going to be considered my first full walk and talk. Last time I did a intro, so today I'm going to do a bit more of a formal intro. All right, so again, I am starting the 8K club, and again, I'm just an average gringo. I moved to Dominican Republic approximately 12 years. I work remotely. I'm an online teacher, and that is what my full-time status is most of the times when I'm not making videos for YouTube or TikTok. But I've always been into athletics. I've played basketball as a kid, track and field, the whole nine. As a younger adult, I always had a treadmill, and I would always run. So the reason why I'm walking and talking with you guys, it is currently about 9:30 here in the Dominican Republic. So I was going to do a sunrise set, as everybody loves sunrises, but as I said, I am an online teacher, and I teach, and some of my students live in different time zones, so I'll often be at work when the sun is rising. So I wasn't able to get one in this morning, but if you do love sunrises and you do love nature, I will definitely be out here as I walk anyway. So again, I told you I was going to give you more of a formal introduction to myself. I'm just an average gringo, as you could tell by the title. I'm from Toronto, Canada, born and raised. Well, I spend a lot of my younger adult years living in the States, mostly New York and all through the East Coast. So I'm pretty much a city boy by heart. However, growing up, we spent a lot of time, or a lot of vacation time, in Jamaica. My mother and father are from Jamaica, and because of that, my mom would go home to see her mom, which was my grandmother at the time, and still technically is my grandmother. And we would go sometimes even 3 times in a year, thanks to my aunt. She had worked for Air Canada, so we had buddy passes, and we would go to Jamaica all of the time. So, as I told you, I am in the 50 bracket. So when I would go to Jamaica in those times in the 80s, it was fairly, I don't want to say primitive, but it was still a developing nation. So we had the outhouse, and we had to catch our water at the water well, and all kind of stuff like that. Walk with things to market, stuff like that. So my transition here to the Dominican Republic has pretty seamless, as again, we don't have outhouses over here, but I've lived in the tropics, and I understand how it is to not have Western standard utilities and be able to function all the same. We are at a beach. It's going towards Cabarete, and so if you want to do a walk and talk with me, please do, as I will be getting 8K in a day. And why 8K? Everybody says you need to get 10,000. Well, that number is pretty much a myth. They said about 6,000 to 8,000 steps a day. It's good for circulation. It's good for mental health. It's good for keeping your muscles in your legs stronger, which I seen a statistic. They said people with long life tend to have strong hamstrings and leg muscles. So that might inspire someone. Maybe the nature here will inspire you. So I try to get 8K in a day, and try to keep that doctor away. All right, so again, I told you I'd do more of a formal introduction of myself, the average gringo. Again, I was born in Toronto, spent a lot of my time in Toronto and in New York City. So I am very much a city boy, but as I said before, I spent a lot of time going back and forth to Jamaica as a child, and I really enjoy and remember those experiences, which left an indelible mark on me, as you can tell. So as a city boy, I did all the city boy things. I was in the hustle, the grind, and, you know, trying to acquire things to please people or please myself while, you know, showing people that I'm doing well. And eventually I end up going back to Toronto from New York, and I end up getting married and buying a home and having a family in the suburbs. I work for the school board. I work with special needs kids. That's what I went to school for. And I currently still work with special needs kids online as well. And I'm probably going to start working with another client one-on-one in a physical setting. But for the most part, I teach ESL. So if you're wondering how I maintain and support myself, that's pretty much how I support myself outside of the quote-unquote matrix. So again, getting back to Toronto, and the title, why and how I left the matrix. I was in a time of transition, and I was going through a divorce, and I was given an opportunity to actually work in the Dominican Republic, doing the exact same thing I do in Toronto, which was working with special needs kids. And I ended up taking the job as I was, you know, transitioning from a married person to a single person. And after I got divorced, I said, okay, you know, this would be a, you know, a good way to transition out of that situation. All right, how long have I been living in the Dominican Republic? I've been living in the Dominican Republic for 12 years. I have a wife, a child. I've worked in private schools here in the Dominican Republic. As I said, I work with special needs kids. That was what I did for the school board for Ontario for about 8 years. And I've done that for about 6 years here in the Dominican Republic. And it was a pretty good run. During the COVID, I ended up working with a lot of my students online, and then I just said, if I'm going to work online, I will just, you know, continue. So I didn't go back to teaching at the private school, and I ended up working online. And there were a lot of other issues. All right, here's something you don't see in New York City. Definitely not in Toronto. Is some horseback riding instructors. Buen dia, buen dia. Hola, hola. So why the move from the matrix? Obviously for me, peace of mind, and just a slower pace of life. So that is pretty much my story in a nutshell. A city kid living in the countryside on the coast. So I am on the north coast of Dominican Republic in a province called Puerto Plata, and I live pretty much off of the beach. All right, so did I always plan on moving to the Caribbean? To tell you the truth, yes. When I was younger, they asked me what I would like to be, and my answer was, I would like to be a beach bum. And lo and behold, I don't know how many years later, but I'm not quite a beach bum, but I live by the beach, and I, you know, have liquid lunches almost daily. So it's not quite lunchtime yet. Again, it's probably going closer to 10 o'clock now. And I don't want to say liquid breakfast. That sounds kind of savage, but you know, sometimes savage is good. But yeah, so I live my life in 8K. So another reason I chose the title, and I would like to make a community around 8K, is everybody, especially in my age, they would just like a little bit of clarity, right? A little bit of perspective. Being on a vibration that, really fits your feel, your mood, and who you truly are, right? So 8K a day for the body, 8K for the clarity. So, speaking of which, I said that I would probably be having steady topics to talk about. Nothing set, but Mondays I would think I would talk about mental health, and I'm not just talking about diagnoses. It's just things to make us feel better, change our perspective, refocus, methods and strategies on how to do a reboot. You might be stuck in the same mundane kind of situation, and you probably could get out of it, but just having a system, a plan, and others like you who can support you, this is the idea behind that. As you can see, the water. I also want to talk about culture, right? What it is to adapt and live in another culture. So I probably have a day, specific to culture, whether it's Western norms or if you're out in East Asia, some of the customs and norms that you have picked up or noticed. And my expats out there, or my fellow average gringos, as I am just an average gringo, so there's plenty more of me out there. I want you to tap in. Tell me where you're from. Where are you gringoing from? Again, I am on the north coast of the Dominican Republic, and I found a way to make a life for myself out here. And if you have found a way to make a life or part-time outside of the country, escape the matrix, let me know where you're gringoing from, and put your country in the comment. Put how long you've been there in the comment. And for my soon-to-be expats watching my channel, tell me where you want to gringo from, or if you are an ex-expat, where were you gringoed from? All right, and we could talk about what brought you there, strategies and tips on how to live abroad. So another segment again would be talking about strategies and tips on how to live abroad. Whether it's set up your banking, immigration, and I have access to professionals for that if you choose to immigrate here to the Dominican Republic. Talk about even basic stuff like getting the right travel card, having the right rewards, stuff that makes gringo living a little easier. A lot of my guys, they are from the East Coast or the West Coast, and they travel long ways to places like Thailand and the Philippines. That or they're going to South America, and they're racking up travel points. And with the right cards and the right strategy, we could really maximize on our traveling, right? And again, if you're making USD, euros, and even Canadian dollars, it stretches. And if you could add a little more to that, that's just much more value and makes life a lot easier. So we will definitely be having a segment dedicated to that. All right, why I chose to make the channel. Actually, this channel was in existence for about maybe 2 years. I just didn't pull the trigger. I don't know why. I was watching a guy on YouTube. I'm going to get his name because I want to shout him out because he definitely inspired me. And he was doing a walk and talk through the forest and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, he's doing exactly what I was setting out to do. Why didn't I pull the trigger? So I'm going to look up his channel. I'm going to give him a shout out. And if you are on the fence about starting a channel or getting your TikTok or something like that, hey, just don't overthink it, right? Nothing tried, nothing done. If you have a good idea, give it a shot. It's not just a good idea to you. And guess what? There'll be a guy out there who does exactly what you plan to do, right? So let's look at it like that, right? If it's a good idea for you, it's a good idea for many. Whew. It is a little bit warm. Again, it is Friday. Let me check the date on this. I'm gonna set my my thing down and just give you guys a view and a step count. One moment. And I would definitely like to know where you guys are watching at from right now. Again, I am Canadian, so any of my Canadians out there, put the Canadian flag emoji if you can. That would be pretty cool. And from what other countries that you're watching from, put your flag. That would be awesome. One moment. So there's been some erosion out here on the beach, so I'm gonna have to take my shoes off. All right, so I'm gonna be walking through the water for this next segment so I can get to the other side. Let me give you guys a step count. And if you have any segment ideas, hey, please put it in the chat. So we're at 2,900 steps right now. So I'm gonna walk through the water here. Let me get my shoes. Here we go. Right? So before the beach started a little further out, as you can see, they have a lot of enforcement here to try to, I guess, keep the property. They have beautiful homes at the top. I'll probably give you a shot at one of them on the way back. Woo! Caribbean Sea. Oh, actually it's Atlantic. Let me correct myself, it is the Atlantic Ocean. And again, this used to be all beach, and I imagine in the summer when the tides are lower, it will fill back all sand. So the ocean taketh and it giveth back. So if you are a beach boy, you probably understand how that works. All right, so I made it to the other side. So how did I end up leaving the Matrix or Toronto? Again, it was very easy for me as I had a job offer and I had, I guess what they say, transferable skills. Did you see that crab right there? What do you say? You have transferable skills. But with the advent of the internet, you are able to make money online, right? You could have a business that you could run and manage away from the actual physical location. A lot of people are doing day trading. I don't know, I would look into day trading, but with this volatile times, with these volatile times that we're having, man, it's kind of hard to predict stable and steady stocks. The stocks go up based on crisis, the stocks go down based on crisis. You know, a president says a word, the stocks go down. The president says another word, the stocks go up. But if you are seasoned and understand, you know, how to do it, and you know trends, and your thick skin. Let's look at some surfers out here. This is surf country out here, as you can see. Any surfers out here that are with me watching, put a surfboard in the comments. Yeah, we're getting some good surf. As they would say, tides are high. It's also Cabarete on the north coast. It is known for its windsurfing. So if you're a windsurfer, you probably have heard of Cabarete, as it is, they say, the windsurf capital here in the Western Hemisphere. So we got some good surfers over there. I'm actually gonna walk up the hill and I don't know how many rocks are over there, as again the beach has changed this year. Okay, so how many people out there are currently online and are working online and are planning your transition? If you are planning a transition, even moving to another state that's more flexible for you and is more economical, let me know what you do, how you're going to do it, and some steps. And let's have some dialogue on, if you are planning to leave the matrix, what are some strategies and tips that we could do, we could use to do that and be successful. I'm going to put a zoom in over here and see if I can pick up there's about, I don't know, 30, 40 surfers out there waiting on the big one. So let's see what's going on over there. All right. Oh, I spilled my water. Are you guys able to see? So they are out there. I think I lost them. Where are they? Let me put a little more light on my screen. I can't see. All right, there they are. A little bit bigger. All right. So, all right, here we go. This is Playa Encuentro. If you're a surfer and you are from the Western Hemisphere, you probably heard of Playa Encuentro. As I was teaching for a private school here, I had a lot of my students, well, not 3 of my students at the time, they were in the Junior Olympics, and they were there for, you guessed it, surfing and kite surfing. So shout out to Paula and shout out to Lou. All right. So if you guys are into surfing or water sports like that, yeah, maybe this might be a place for you. Let me just give you guys a good shot here. Oh, technical difficulty there. So let me continue to how and why I am no longer living in the so-called matrix, living in the Western system. Again, everything was rosy, nothing wrong with the Western world. I'm not one of those guys who say, hey, you need to get out or whatever here, and the West is wrong and all that stuff. I'm not one of those guys, and I'm not a passport bro. Again, no knock on the passport bros. You guys are putting stamps in your passport, seeing different lifestyles and options, so hats off to you. I've been pretty much stationary here in the DR, and I was here long before this whole movement, so I would consider myself, no pun intended, Christopher Columbus. As you know, Christopher Columbus founded the first capital city right here in the province of Puerto Plata. The very first hospital in the Western Hemisphere was built right here in Puerto Plata. The very first universities were in, I believe, Santo Domingo. And so this province here is very historical. Some of the very first Western settlements started right here in the Dominican Republic. This is where we discovered the West. All right, so leaving the West was an option for me because, again, as a young person, I was always into travel. I always loved the Caribbean, and I told you that I pretty much wanted to be a beach bum when I grew up. As many of the people right here on the beach right here. And again, that's not everybody's journey. That's not everybody's destination. But I built the channel for us to be able to walk and talk and have some dialogue, as well as, inspire others. So even though I'm shooting videos and talking and trying to give inspiration, I definitely could use some inspiration, get some tips and ideas. So I'm building a community. I have a Facebook page I started. I got a tiki-talkie that I started as well. And I just want to, again, I said it was for males or whatnot, and talk about men's health, because that's what I know. I am a man. I'm over 50. And if you're over 50 and you're getting up to use the bathroom more than regular, you kind of understand men's health is something that we need to discuss. So, but all my women that walk 8K a day and are seeking some inspiration, perspective, or wanting to give some inspiration and perspective, please join. And just because I'm an older dude, I don't look that old though, right? And I'm an average gringo. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't want my young travelers or my young remote workers or young people in general who are just trying to, see a different perspective in life, add some perspective to other people's lives, and want to get 8K in. And again, why do I say 8K? Because at this stage, in this age of my life where I'm not active in sports anymore, like these young people right here, you see them surfing out here. Let me put more focus on these surfers. You're probably more interested in seeing them. All right. So, I got to get the exercise in, got to get the heart rate going. And again, women like men with good circulation. That's what they say. All right. So So that's exactly why I just said I would, keep my exercise up. Hey, I'm grabbing one photo. Gracias. Feliz Viernes. Catch a wave, bro. All right, so you see them out here. They're out here as the young folks. So we out here. I am not a surfer. I'm gonna probably try to maybe get my son into surfing, as it's pretty cool. And I'm pretty sure the chicks like surfer dudes for some reason. But yeah, it is Friday here in the Dominican Republic. I'm on the North Coast. We're on what we call the surf capital here. So everybody's catching waves. You got young kids out here catching waves. You got old experienced dudes out here. So it's a mixed bag out here. It's big fun. And this is one of the reasons I got myself out of the Matrix. I'm not, I live in Toronto. Shouts out to Toronto. Lived in New York. Shouts out to NY. But I think my best life is right here on the beach. Look, everybody's happy. You don't hear anybody crying or yelling or fighting. I don't hear any sirens going off. Right? So as much as there are as many opportunities in the West, there are also many opportunities outside of your box. So whether that's outside of your state, outside of your home country, you're trying to get to the West and have opportunity. We could talk about that. Again, it's about the mind state of, let's do what's best for us at the end of the day, while we're trying to help others, right? So a lot of times that perspective is in reverse, and I totally understand that with responsibilities. But yeah. So getting back to why and how I left the Matrix. Again, I had a perfect life, family. I worked for the school board, 4-bedroom home, blah, 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 in the suburbs. And again, sometimes the Matrix, it has glitches. And sometimes a glitch isn't really a glitch. It was what it was supposed to be, right? So my journey as a married man and living in the suburbs, it was awesome. So I have no complaints there. And I'm glad that, that I had that experience, right? So I have balance. So I'm speaking from a place of, experience and knowledge. I'm not just saying, hey, you know what? This postcard looks awesome. Why don't I live a postcard life? I've pretty much done it on all the sides. So I got divorced. It was kind of, just like any divorce I would imagine. It wasn't a very good situation at the time. And I went on a trip with a friend, and we were out here for about a week or so, and checked out some properties. I was interested in some properties at the time. And then, lo and behold, I was given a job opportunity. And then I was given another job opportunity, so I end up staying. Another reason I'm here is I was in an accident a long time ago. And, I have back issues and joint issues and neck issues and all kind of weird stuff like that. So even though I try to, stay fit and be active, I do it in moderation. So again, my guys out there, if 8K is, not, you're not up to 8K yet, that's okay, right? It's not a matter of posting to show off whether I did more than 8K a day or I do 8K every day. It's more so getting active. So more so than anything, I want to see my 3K guys. I want to see my 4K guys. Why? Because there's a guy watching the video and seeing all the people putting 8K or in my Facebook club and everybody's putting 8K and they feel like, they can't post either. No. This is a community. We are all in this together. We are all seeking better health. We are all seeking, good perspective and finding a system that works and fits best for us. So I want to see the 2K guys, the 3K guys, the 5K guys in the chats. That is for sure. Again, just because I'm walking 8K a day, there's many days that I'm not able, whether it's not permitting or it's just a busy time for me. So yeah, if you're putting up 2K, 4K, 5K, put it up, inspire the other guy, right? And eventually, if you want to put up consistent 8Ks, that is awesome, right? Each one teach one. Again, please understand that I'm trying to build a community. I am looking guidance as well as giving a little perspective. And that's what as a community is about. Each one teach one. I did it, you can do it. Or my perspective is that, and with your perspective like that, you could do this. So again, it's not just a channel I'm trying to build up here. I'm actually trying to have a community of people like-minded and that want to be active for the most part and are trying to figure it out. They're on the second chapter in life. They're on the end chapter in life. And they just want a little perspective. They want to be a part of a community that is helping, understanding, right? And that is what I am trying to accomplish here. So 8K a day, it is for clarity for the most part, right? So it's not just a number. It is about having clarity. All right, so as you see, I chose the Dominican Republic for many of reasons. The first, obviously, is the beach. And the second, like I said, I am very big on community. And this is a very communal environment over here, whether you're a surfer or you're into nature, arts and craft, yoga, you could find it, right? Community. That's what we're dealing with. So here in the Dominican Republic, there are many opportunities to be part of a community. So that is one reason I moved out here. The second reason I moved out here is economics, right? I live on the beach and I pay way less than what a dude is paying for a box in New York City or my home city of Toronto. It is not even comparable. It is day and night. And if you are able to make USD and you have what we say, a transferable skill, this would probably be a great place, especially if you're from the East Coast. The flights are, at most 4, maybe 5 hours. So you could get back to your home city relatively easy. So that is another reason why I chose the Dominican Republic. So Dominican Republic, it is not niche by any standards. They have really good economics when it comes to a person coming from a Western country making euros or USD or Canadian. So if you understand those economics, maybe getting out of the matrix, is a pretty good idea, and you might understand why I did it. All right. Another reason I came to Dominican Republic is for the culture, right? These people have a very unique culture, very similar to Jamaica. So party first, tomorrow we'll figure it out, and let's not put too much stress on ourselves. So that type of culture, that type of atmosphere definitely is something that was inviting to me. And then the food. I really enjoy the food, as it is very similar to the food that I grew up on. Again, my mother is Jamaican, and we eat similar foods: avocado, rice and beans, chicken guisado, or as we would say, stewed chicken. So it is very familiar to me. All right, the cons. All right, I'm not trying to sell you on a perfect imaginary place, because there is no such thing. Cons with living in the Dominican Republic, for me at first, and probably still are a bit, is the language barrier, right? I am not a native Spanish speaker. I speak well enough because I've been here long enough, but I'm almost embarrassed about my Spanish, as I'm a professional and I should sound more professional. But this year, I told myself I was gonna, make my channels. So also, again, I teach online. ESL with Teacher Cell is the tag. You could catch me online, and but I wasn't on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram. And a lot of my students who are in my classes say, "Hey, man, why you don't post, man? Your classes are pretty fun and engaging," right? So, hola. So I made it a point this year as to make my TikTok. So that is ESL with Teacher Cell on Instagram, ESL with Teacher Cell on YouTube, and now now the Average Gringo on YouTube. So this year I'm gonna make some moves, and learning Spanish and having good grammatics is is at the forefront for my self-improvement this year. So I'm definitely gonna look more into that. All right, if there are some things that you are trying to improve, because the year is still early. As a matter of fact, some people still look at April the 1st or the 2nd as the beginning of the new year, right? So it's not too late. As you can see, I've been here so many years, and I'm just now starting my YouTube channel and doing my walk and talk. So they say it's greater later. So execution is key. All right, so are there any things that people are trying to do differently? I would like to hear that in the comment. Give me one moment. I'm going to give you a shot. All right, so again, this is my first real official walk and talk, as again, I will be getting 8K a day. I'll post my odometer reading, pedometer. I apologize. It is hot and I'm tired. And so, again, if your desire is to, just stay in your home country, but you want to do things differently, manage money differently, maybe move to another state which is more economically viable for you, you're trying to go to another country, add travel into your life, and you want tips and tricks on how to travel, this is a great place to do that. You want tips and tricks on how to live outside of the matrix, this is also a great place to do that. So again, if your desire is to be a quote-unquote passport, passport bro, right? Nothing wrong with that. But anything you do, execution. And a community of others that can give you tips and tricks is always beneficial. Or if you just want to retire abroad and move to another country or station yourself in another country, let's talk about that. And let's talk about is it even viable or even worth leaving the matrix in these inflationary times? I could definitely give you insight on that. And again, I am a person that will give you real raw perspective. I don't sugarcoat or paint things like they are, you know, everything is perfect. If you move to the Caribbean, you move to Hawaii or wherever you move to, Portugal, that your problems are going to go away. That, my friend, is a lie. And I try to keep everything clear and in HK. So I will be talking about the cons of living abroad. And, and I could go into some of those right now. So some of the cons are obviously isolation, away from your family, right? Away from the norm. You know, you might miss your barber. I don't miss my barber, but right? You might miss your barber. You miss your mom. You miss the local coffee shop. They don't have the creature comforts that you enjoy in the supermarket where you are. I've dealt with all of that. The internet and the power is not reliable. I have dealt with all of that. A lot of people, I'm going to show you some of these luxurious houses here on the coast right here. They got some beautiful homes like that, right here I should say. And when you look at these houses, it is paradise. I want to win the lotto and I want that house. That's my house. Remember when you were a kid, when you see a car like you like and you and your friend see it at the same time, you would say, that's my car, right? I called it first, right? So there are homes here that are beautiful, stunning, but what a lot of people don't tell you is I live near the ocean too. I'm not on the water, but I could hear the water at night. That's how close I am. If I got a rock, I could probably hit the water if I threw the rock hard enough, right? Oxidation, molding. So when you live in the Caribbean on the seaside, the air has salt in the air. And if you have metals and electronics, they will rust and seize. Here's some beautiful homes I can tell you right now. Let me get a shot. This is a beautiful home, right? But you know what they're dealing with? Oxidation. All right? You know what they deal with in the rainy season? They deal with mold, right? Because you live on the ocean and there's a lot of moisture in the air. If it rains for more than 4 to 5 days, it is hard to get that moisture out of your home. So you'll find that you will get mold on your curtains. You will have to wash your clothes in the closet that you didn't even wear because of the moisture in the air. So those are one of the cons. Beautiful house, beautiful houses. If I won the lotto, I'd probably buy one of those too. Another con is service, right? Again, if you come to a Caribbean island, right, don't expect the service to be, hey, this is my neighbor, what's up? The service to be similar to in the West. It's not there yet. And because of the culture is so laxed, even if they did have the infrastructure, it would not be applied the same way. All right. Another con for most people is immigration when they go to move abroad. Here in the Dominican Republic, it's fairly easy. A lot of people just overstay and then they pay when they leave. So it's not that hard. If you In other places like Taiwan, or I mean Thailand or Guam or some of those places, they have strict amount of times you could stay, strict requirements for non-natives to live there. So do that. And before coming to another country, one of the biggest cons is, you know, getting yourself into the banking system. Boy, oh boy, oh boy.